It was alive. The president never gave me any deadline.
Another beautiful day on global television. This is a day that is so bright and promising, and one of the things we don't stop doing on a daily basis is the fact that we help you start your day on a beautiful note by bringing you to speed with major headlines. And of course, another thing is that every day comes with its own expectations. You fit into the expectation and work it out based on your plans for the day. On Global Morning today, we'll be looking at the major headlines, and of course, two major conversations will also be going down. My name is Ramsey Enoch. It's good to have you join us today on this beautiful global morning. We are going global. In fact, it's actually global. It was a historic moment in the history of Ghana as Mahama assumes office. As a matter of fact, a lot of heads of all the nations were there, including our own people from this axis too. And some people have said this is something to learn from. Having a vice president, a female vice president, is something commendable. Some persons before now may think it is not achievable, but then if it is achievable in one country, then there is a possibility that it can also be achievable in another country. I think one of the things that Nigerian women have ever clamored for is political positions. A few of them have had it. Some did very well, some disappointed. But then we can't say because they're disappointed, then they shouldn't be tried again because of the men. Some of the men also disappointed. But one thing with governance is that you can't really please everyone. Whatever you do, people must say. Whatever you do, people must talk about it, either positive or negative. So the narrative is that, well, everyone coming into political office will have people who are for them and others who are against, who are supposed to be those criticizing the system to put up a check and balance, what we call check and balance, holding the government of the day accountable for most of the things they do. But then how many countries of the world are these things really are coming up real? That's it. Especially in Africa, we can say in some of the developed worlds it happens, but then what about Africa? How is it in your area, in your state? The fuel scarcity, the fuel price hike, fuel wasn't really scarce, because that's one of the things I commended the authorities for during the festive period, that we had products almost everywhere apart from the variation in the price. Some were selling for 900 and something, some were still selling for, some sold for 1,000 naira and others 1,000 plus. I don't want to talk about the other side of it, the one they call black market. I don't want to go there because theirs is based on assumption. They sell based on your need, how pressing it is for you to get the product. If it is so pressing, if they know you need it desperately, they can give you the price. And will you push your car? Will you carry it on your head? You don't have any option than to just get a few that will move you out of that place at that point in time. So the black market dealers, I don't talk about their price, but then the accepted price, all right, by the government, the one the government have actually said this is how it should be sold. NNPC is selling for a different price, other filling stations selling for other prices. But then we have the standard price approved by the government. So good. I think Sukwa is returning gradually. But one thing is that Nigerians are always quick to adapt to situations. You can see what happens. I know a lot happened. A lot happened. I know of people who lost their job. They lost their job as a result of the subsidy removal, because a lot of private organizations couldn't pay anymore. And so many things happened. The ripple effect of these things. That's why some people will tell you anything that will have to do with fuel, it's something that goes round to affect almost everything in the system, in the society, ranging from the price of food, the price of even services. And you must commute whether you like it or not. You must commute because you must move from one location to the other. It's either you're driving in your own private car or you are boarding a commercial vehicle. So no matter whatever happens, you must commute. So fuel is very important. It's an essential commodity. Allow me to call it so. It's so essential. It's so important. So Nigerians are still waiting for when the price of fuel will drop. Okay, drastically. Let's say 500 is 500 okay? All right, you can just trust God for the price to drop. And of course, the economy of the nation. This is 2025. The minister of in fact, almost all the ministers in their various ministries are giving Nigerians hope. All right. The Minister of Works and Housing is doing his own. The Minister of FCT is on top of his game. The Minister of Finance and of course the coordinating Minister of the Economy is also making a lot of promises and giving Nigerians a lot of hope. Though a lot coming from the presidency, also the federal government, giving Nigerians hope. I think one thing that Nigerians have actually noticed is the fact that this government, to an extent, are sensitive to an extent. I say to an extent. All right, Nigerians feel this government is sensitive to some of the plights of the people, and the other. It appears as if there is nothing they can do about it right now. The reason why I am saying this is because we interface with the public most of the time. We talk with people, we talk to Nigerians at various levels, okay, and we get to hear what they are saying. I think a lot of Nigerians, majority of Nigerians will tell you they are waiting for when they can actually have 3 square meal, because a lot of people cannot afford 3 square meal right now as we speak. But then some persons are trying. The Nigerians are very intelligent people. You can't take that away. And some persons have gotten themselves employed, not waiting for the federal government anymore. People are becoming so innovative and creative. I don't know, but one thing with Nigeria is that they take advantage of situations to come out with something. A lot of people, the creativity of a lot of people came out. All right, the creativity of a lot of people came out. Their innovations was brought to the fore as a result of the economy, the dwindling and challenging nature of the economy. That's good. Let's just keep it up. I think the most important thing now is having a conducive environment to thrive, especially for SMEs, those who are the small, medium enterprises. Okay, the small scale business owners need a lot, and that's the reason some persons will tell you the tax reform is really good, because it's going to give people opportunity to thrive, especially small business owners. If your income is not above ₦1 million, you don't have to pay tax, and so many things happening. But it's so good that we can still make calls today, contrary to the information that came before now, that the telcos were going to increase the price of call per minute. I think it's so good that NCC said, well, nothing like that, and the regulatory body said nothing like that. We're still waiting, apart from the hidden charges that you may not know if there are really hidden charges. I know it's banks that have hidden charges. All the same, let's get to what the papers are saying this morning, and I will be taking you through the major headlines for the day, as you do well to pick a copy of the papers after we have done our own review. For further review and for better understanding, we'll bring you the newspaper review after this break, because you deserve to know. It's now time for us to bring you to the pages of the paper. We'll take you through what the headlines are saying, what's in the national daily for this beautiful day. It is the 9th day of January 2025. Like a joke, 2025 is right here, and of course we are so excited that the days are coming and going, and of course it's like this January is going to be a little fast. I don't know, that's for me. I don't know what you think, but then what are the papers saying this morning? Beginning from the Nigerian News Direct this morning, let's get to know what the papers are saying. From the Nigerian News Direct this morning, I have this headline: UNILAG graduates. Okay, UNILAG graduates 561 first-class students as to bag 5.0 CGPA. Wow, that's beautiful. Then, despite criticism, okay, despite cynicism, NNPCL under Carey leadership has recorded notable achievement. Presidency is the one I already talked about it. I already talked about the fuel and of course the product, the availability of the product. It wasn't scarce, even though the price was on the high side for some persons. It wasn't scarce during the festive period, and the federal government, the presidency this morning, is commending the leadership of Carey. Okay, and that's a good one. You can actually get that on Nigeria News Direct. Then we get to the big story right here, which is the Star Story. The Star Story says Emefiole's legal woes persist as court okay's EFCC's $4.5 billion, 2.8 billion naira fraud case. Details on page 12 of the Nigerian News Direct. More stories still coming from the Nigerian News Direct this morning. Kano government to distribute 3 billion naira for flood victims in Kano. Well, the issue of flooding, I thought it has come and gone. Probably the victims of the flooding that happened during the rainy season, maybe they are the ones who are going to get this. Equity market rebounds from losses with 507 billion naira profit for investors. That's on the Nigerian News Direct. And moving from the Nigerian News Direct this morning, I'm going straight to the Nation's newspaper, where the Nation's newspaper have this one above the nameplate, which says France rejects destabilization claim by Niger. France rejects the destabilization claim by Niger. Just one right at that story. Nigeria retain French tie. Okay, details on page 5. This one says 34 terrorists killed in Borno bloody crossfire, says defense headquarters. One rider to that story, and the rider says we lost 6 soldiers. That's so I don't know, but then it's heartbreaking. This January, people are beginning to lose their lost ones, their loved ones. They lost their loved ones to terrorism. Well, 34 terrorists killed in Borno bloody crossfire, says Defense Headquarters, while 6 soldiers were lost in the incident. It's a crossfire. So there are some things that you can't avoid. It's a crossfire. But then we want to say all hands needs to be on deck. Let's see how Nigerians are actually waiting for those days, back in the days like it was back then, when you can actually sleep with your 2 eyes closed without being scared of maybe the attack of some group of persons called herdsmen, and maybe the invasion, the guerrilla attack of some persons who call themselves terrorists. Nigerians are waiting for that time when people can actually travel on the highway without the fear of kidnap. I know all this will come to pass very soon, and let the authorities, the defense chiefs, and our military and security operatives, everyone, well, security, as a matter of fact, is the responsibility of everyone in this country, because if you are not a military personnel, a security operative, you have necessary informations that you can divulge to the security operatives to enable them carry out their search for these terrorists. More headlines still coming from the Nation's newspaper this morning. This one, the kicker says alleged $4.5 billion fraud. Court assets jurisdiction in Emefele's case. Then this other story says Ogun police worried over rising cases of missing persons. Details on page 26. Now below the nameplate, I rose from Almajiri to become NNPCL boss, says Melekari. What's that? I rose from Almajiri to become NNPCL boss, says Melekari. That's the story of his life. If you want to know how that happened, you can just pick a copy of the Nation's newspaper. If you want to know how he metamorphosed from being an Almajiri to becoming NNPCL boss, you can actually pick a copy of the Nation's newspaper and go through it for yourself. Now to the star story on the Nation's newspaper this morning. Federal lawmakers seek more funding for 2024 capital projects. Federal lawmakers seek more funding for 2024 capital projects, and we have some riders to that story. The first rider says capital releases to MDAs are major drivers of economy. Capital releases to MDAs are major drivers of economy. The second one says Edum, that's the kicker. There are warrants awaiting payment. That's coming from Edum, the Minister of the Economy. Let's move away from there and go to the next headline, which says, please rescue 59 trafficked children. Please rescue 59 trafficked children. And then this one says a court orders interim forfeiture of 228.4 million naira traced to ex-Abia Governor Orji. Details on page 25. Sometimes Nigerians would want to ask questions. Some of this money is being recovered. Where are they really being channeled? Will Nigerians really get to know? Alright, this money is being forfeited. What actually it's been used for? Where is it being directed to? Because as a matter of fact, I know it's supposed to be directed somewhere, alright, that will benefit the Nigerian people. Maybe the state where this money was actually looted or carted away from. Let me just use that word, because as a matter of fact, when you hear of things like this, and this monies are not just something small. This money is not something small. 228.4 million naira, okay, it's been traced to ex-Abia governor Orji. Well, that's the headlines from the Nation's newspaper this morning. Still bringing you headlines this morning. Let's quickly move to the next paper, which is the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And on the Daily Trust newspaper, I have this story which says a federal government hints at new national career. National career. Federal government hints at new national career. Then this one says, expect tariff hike from telcos soon. Minister is the one said this. I thought, well, there was a disclaimer that there was nothing like that. The minister is now saying Nigerians should expect, okay, tariff hike from telcos very soon. Why the hike? Is it because of tax? Is it because of the economy? How much is going to be the hike? I don't know. Hiking everything. Hiking the prices of food, hike in the prices of product and services, transportation, fuel, everything. Now, for you to make calls, there is going to be a hike, a tariff hike. Then sometimes you'll be forced to ask questions. These telcos, the ones operating in other countries, like one which is actually has its root in South Africa, how much is the tariff in South Africa and other countries where they are operating? These are the things that should be looked at. But then, if you want to talk about that, the cost of operation in these countries are different, because when we talk, we do a check and balancing from the two sides of the coin. But no matter what it is, I think it will be good if the hike is not that one that will hold Nigerians by the truth. Okay, Nigerians shouldn't be struggled to death because so much happening right now. Hike everywhere. You know, this is adding to the hardship. Well, we can't take away the fact that the telcos are doing well. Communication, anything communication is very important, okay, because we can't exist without communication. The telcos have really helped business owners. You know, deals have been sealed in millions, in billions, all right, via calls. But then, no matter what the hike, no matter how much the increment is going to be, it should be minimal and affordable, putting into consideration what Nigerians are going through right now. At least you should take cognizance of the current situation and the economy if that hike will happen, especially those, because Nigerians, this thing is not like there's going to be a town hall meeting where this hike is going to be discussed or there will be a negotiation. Please put it like this so that Nigerians, but then the authorities that are interfacing with these telcos, the minister, okay, and the rest of them that are interfacing, NCC and the regulatory bodies, should be able to speak for Nigerians so that this hike, this tariff hike, will not be something that will hold Nigerians by the truth. More headlines still coming from the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. 11 killed, 31 houses razed in Jigawa. Ethnic crisis. Ethnic crisis. This one is not terrorism. It's not terrorism anymore. Someone says something, and when you look at it critically, you would want to think it is true. Some person said, if anything happens, when we talk about the problem of Nigerians, that Nigerians are the problem of Nigeria. And you begin to ask questions. When you begin to carry out research, you will get to know that a lot of people, some Nigerians are not even helping matters at all. Why should there be a crisis in community? These communities, if you check, maybe they could be intermarriage, they could be related, either by blood or by association. Why this crisis to the extent that it will claim 11 lives and houses being razed down? The people whose houses were razed down, what's going to happen to them? Where will they lay their head? In this challenging economy, how will they be able to put up another house again to live in? What if they have families? Sometimes these things happen, and you want to think the traditional rulers have a big role to play in societal matters, in community issues. We should be able to settle disputes, not allowing it to escalate. And I know they agree. That's where the problem comes from. Peace is very, very good in nation building, in community development. So we should try as much as possible. I'm saying this now, this has happened, and it has happened. This is Jigawa State. What about Benue State? We have a lot of communal crisis there. Not just Benue State, other states of Nigeria, even in the east, in the west, everywhere. These are things that can be averted, it can be controlled, it can be stopped from happening if all hands are on deck. The traditional rulers, the community heads, the chiefs, everyone should play a vital role so that we don't have a repeat of this. Imagine lives being lost, houses being razed down, properties being lost as a result of just ethnic crisis, disagreement. Well, this shouldn't happen because we are all trying. Like I said, and I'll keep saying, nation building is not the function or the assignment, responsibility, as the case may be, of the government alone. Every individual, every citizen have a role to play. So all hands should be on deck. And this thing starts from the grassroots. If there is development at the grassroots, it will grow to the top. All right. It shouldn't be falling from the top downwards all the time. Sometimes it should go from the down to the top, especially now that we have the local government autonomy. I think to whom much is given, much is expected. More headlines still coming from the Daily Trust newspaper. Now to the big story. The star story on the Daily Trust says, Nigeria to UN, that's the kicker. Probe Boko Haram's funding and training. Nigeria is telling United Nations, now we need you to do this. For how long are we going to continue in this situation? The lamentation has lingered for a very long time. We need to change the status quo. All right, we're tired of this status quo. It gotta be better. It gotta be more than this, beautiful than this. Nigeria is a blessed nation. As a matter of fact, Nigeria is saying to the United Nations, probe Boko Haram's funding and training. Where are they being trained? Who is training them? Who is funding them? But it's so amazing that we've had before now that there are some people, okay, who are funding this terrorism. But we are waiting for their names to be called out. But their names were not called. We don't know what happened to these people. If the sponsors are known, then that's a problem known. It's half solved. All right, that's it. Then the solution should not be far away. So if Nigeria is saying this morning that the United Nations needs to probe Boko Haram's funding and training, then it's very vital, because some of the sponsors may not even be in Nigeria. Some of them may not be Nigerians. The funding, the accounts may be opened not in Nigeria, so it's not being traced, maybe from outside the shores of this country, and the sponsor is coming, the funding is coming. If the United Nations can do that, I think it's going to go a long way helping Nigeria tackle terrorism in this country. Just one rider to that story. CDS suspect international conspiracy. This is huge. This is big. CDS suspects international conspiracy. Who's conspiring against this country? I think Nigeria is a big nation, the giant of Africa. Our security operatives, our intelligence should rise to the occasion. Let's get to know if international organizations, international bodies, countries, individuals, foreigners are involved in this terrorism in Nigeria. It has eaten so deep into the fabric of the society, and a whole lot of harm has been caused to Nigeria and Nigerians. That's it. That's what it is, to Nigeria and Nigerians, because the destructions, the amenities that has been destroyed in the north and other parts of the country is massive. Sometimes I sit down to think, when would these amenities be repaired again? Especially when we're having a challenging economy. Who will go and repair those structures, those government facilities that were destroyed, the places where bombing happened, the places where gunshots happened and properties and lives were destroyed? These are irreparable, losses. But then we just want to say whatever or whoever that is behind this in the United Nations can actually help fish them out is going to go a long way helping Nigeria and Nigerians, just like Nigeria have said to the UN. More headlines still coming from the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Driver nabbed with 59 trafficked children in FCT. I think we need to commend the security operatives in the Federal Capital Territory. The issue of one chance is not as rampant as it used to be, and tracking this driver is commendable. Why did I say it's commendable? That's to tell you that the security operatives are working. Imagine 59 trafficked children. Where are they being carried to? What will they be used for? That's the major problem. And who are the people behind these? I call it, this is a very bad activity. For how long have they been carrying out this activity, this trafficking? For how long? A trafficker was actually arrested in Abuja airport a few days ago, and now this driver is being nabbed. Who is behind it? Is it the driver that is trafficking these children, or we have some persons who are behind it? For how long? Where are these other children that were actually trafficked before now? These are questions that should be asked. These are some of the things that put Nigeria, when others are trying everything to put Nigeria on the global map, some persons are working tirelessly, frustrating the effort of people who want to make this nation great. I think the law should take its course as far as trafficking and corruption is concerned in this nation. More headlines still coming to us. It is still Global Morning, and we're looking at the major headlines from the national dailies. And don't forget that after the newspaper review, the AM News is going to be coming up, and we will also have two major conversations on Global Morning today. But now we are moving to the next paper. Next point of call is the Vanguard newspaper, another national daily again. This one says, above the nameplate, federal government won't approve 100% tariff increase for telcos. Minister is the one saying that. I didn't even see this paper when I was saying the minister and the authorities concerned should negotiate, should speak with telcos so that this tariff hike doesn't hold Nigerians by the throat. And on the Vanguard newspaper right here, we have it that the minister himself have already spoken that the increment will not be 100%. Whatever hike they want to do, it shouldn't be 100%. Well, it will be fine if it's not 100% and not too biting for Nigerians. More headlines still coming. This one is coming from the Vanguard newspaper on page 22, and it says Wike, Fubara, others should work with Atta-led committee. That's coming from Pandev. I agree from Almajiri School to become CEO of NNPCL. Do you still remember the Almajiri School during Goodluck Jonathan? A lot happened, and of course we had of the Almajiri School. It is so good. It's a good news. It's so good. That's to tell you that somehow, even though if it is not 100%, as some Nigerians may think it, the system is working gradually. All right, just that the speed, the kilometer at which the system is working is what I can't determine right now. But then it's so good to hear that Melakari grew from Almajiri School to become the chief executive officer of NNPCL. Melakari is the one saying that Okupe apologizes to Kyari over past comments on NNPC. That's on the Vanguard newspaper. Then this one says a businessman asks courts to reverse sale of his 43 million shares to telecom firm. Okay, that is on the Vanguard newspaper. Then now to the big story. The big story says states race to build airports as hunger bites harder. States race to build airports as hunger bites harder. Well, let's look at the riders to that story. We could have a better understanding of why states are racing to build airports, even though hunger is biting. One of the riders to that story says, as hunger ravaged the land, governors compete to build airports, spend 181 billion naira. Another rider says airports built by states not viable. That's by experts and ex-fan MDs. Airports built by states are not viable. Why? What's the problem? What do they need to do? Who's supervising it? What's wrong? Why is it not viable? These are questions that Nigerians are asking. The other rider says not revenue generated can't maintain airports. Revenue generated can't maintain airports, which puts more burden and fine. Ask federal government to stop granting licenses to governors on airport development. Alright, those are the riders to that story. You can now see why the big story on the Vanguard newspaper this morning is saying states race to build airports as hunger bites harder. It could be a source of income for states, but then there is a complaint coming that state-owned airports are not viable, and this is coming from experts and of course ex-fan MDs. Now to other stories. Obi is the kicker of this story. I have received over 200 death threats. APC spokesman Moka is the one saying that. Obi, that's the kicker. I have received over 200 death threats. APC spokesman Moka. Right? One writer to that story, we won't dignify Moka's claim with response. Obedience are the ones saying that. Alright, that's a claim. That's a claim. But then, if you see the two jumping in the daylight, surely there is a cause. It's either it's after something or something is after it. Now, more headlines from the Vanguard newspaper. Influx of bandits will be checkmated. Please, Amotekun commanders, OPC, are the ones saying that. Details on page 10. Alleged $2.1 billion fraud. That's the kicker. Court strikes out abuse of office charge against Emefiele. This one says rage over Super Eagles new coach. Rage over Super Eagles coach. There is a speculation. Well, I don't want to talk about this too much. We've already spoken about it on sports, but then a lot of people are still trying to find terms with the appointment of the Malian coach who is now the Super Eagles coach, and there is a speculation that Eguavoen may be going to coach one African country. All right, Ghana. as a matter of fact. Let's see what happens. Someone said probably they will Ghana want to understand Nigeria's pattern. Well, all of that you can find on the Vanguard newspaper. You can just pick a copy of the Vanguard newspaper, and if any of the stories interest you, you can just go through it for yourself. More headlines still coming on your way this morning on Global Morning, and right now we are going to peruse the Daily Times newspaper this morning. Drug trafficking, that's the big story. Drug trafficking is the kicker. NDLEA, the master sets to fight crime. All right, that's the big story on the Daily Times newspaper this morning. Why telco tariff will be reviewed? Okay, this is coming from Minister. Why telco tariff will be reviewed? Minister, I think on 3 different papers, the minister have said 3 different things. The first one said there will be a hike in a tariff hike, okay, from the telcos. The second one, he said, well, the tariff hike is not going to be 100%. And now he said there is a reason why this hike, this tariff will be reviewed. That's on the Daily Times newspaper. Then more headlines still coming from the Daily Times newspaper this morning. We have dismantled 5,049 cybercrime syndicate domains. Police is the one saying that the Nigerian police doing so much. Someone said something. He said if the Nigerian police want to walk, they will walk to the latter, because the Nigerian police is very intelligent. But then unfortunately there is a part of this police, this force that a lot of Nigerians know, which doesn't really project their image very well. And this is an act perpetrated by some of the officers. But the intelligence aspect of the Nigerian police, a lot of people don't see that. The Nigerian police, very intelligent. If they want to go after criminals, if they want to do anything, the trained one, the experts, the intelligence among them know what to do. I think this is a welcome development that they have dismantled 5,049 cybercrime syndicates domain. That's a good one. Forest allocation for fuel rise to $1.25 billion. This one says ECOWAS distributes $200,000 worth relief materials to Bauchi flood victims. Okay, that's a good one. Plateau fresh attack claims 3 lives, several injured. We were looking forward to when there won't be attacks anymore in the country, whether it's communal crisis or it is banditry or maybe kidnap or terrorism, whatever it is. Nigerians are seriously looking forward to that time, and I'm so sure, I'm optimistic that that time will come very soon, when we'll not get to hear about terrorists anymore, because I know the soldiers and even the chiefs have already promised Nigerians that it will be a thing of the past very soon. Soon and very soon, we are going to sing a song that will make us not to remember terrorism in Nigeria anymore. All right, finally from the Daily Times newspaper this morning, as my time is fast spent, experts predict economic rebound for Nigeria amid inflation and Naira challenge. I don't want to talk about the Naira challenge right now, because it's so disheartening that Naira keeps falling like a stone on a daily basis. That's not really what Nigerians are looking forward to, at least. Well, no matter what it is, I think the presidency and the minister of the coordinating minister of the economy will tell you, well, Nigeria is on track. The floating of the Naira will lead us somewhere. Nigerians are still waiting for where it's going to lead us, and for how long will this floating happen, because importation is a thing of the past right now, because people can't import products anymore. Business owners are folding their arms, and if they even struggle to bring anything in, the price is triple. Well, Nigerians are waiting for that time. Now to the Punch newspaper, and the big story says 9 billion naira e-border project fails to stop bandits and illegal aliens. Just one rider to that story. Illegal Niger, Cameroon immigrants infiltrate Jigawa, Taraba, others. Borders automated, insist Interior Minister. That's where the problem is coming from, because we have a lot of foreigners entering the country. Japa, Agbero, Eba, 17 other Nigerian words added to Oxford Dictionary. Japa is in dictionary now, Agbero in dictionary, Eba, and 17 other Nigerian words added to Oxford Dictionary. Well, I think I'll need to check this out, right, to see how true it is. This is coming from Alausa. Well, let's look at other headlines this morning. Air Chief celebrates NAF engineers for reviving moribund aircraft. That's what it is. Okay, after being trained, they are able to give back to the society. Backbiters behind my kangaroo impeachment, marking this ex-deputy. Then this one says EFCC detains 10 officers for stealing cash and gold exhibits. Details on page 12. That's so good to know. EFCC detaining 10 officers for stealing cash. This thing is everywhere. You are fighting corruption and you're trying to be corrupt too. That's not a good one. How did these people even get recruited? How did they got recruited into the system? Is it that they got corrupted when they came into the system? You know, sometimes Nigerians will be worried because in most you can't say that, because even in the disciples of Jesus, Judas was there. So we are not categorizing and we are not generalizing that the system is porous, but it's so good that this disciplinary action is coming from EFCC itself. Let's see how that is going to end and how many others will still be fetched out. Well, I think more investigations need to be done into most of the anti-graft agencies, and of course even public offices everywhere. You know, we need to fish out the bad eggs so that we can have a better society. Tension rises as gunmen killed 18 in Imo community. Still communal crisis. Then from the Blueprints newspaper, we're going to the Blueprints now, where the big story says federal government says call data tariff hike eminent, rules out 100% increase. So what's going to be the percentage? Just one rider to that story. We have a responsibility to protect subscribers, Tesco's interest. That's the minister saying that. Then this one says no vacancy in PDP leadership position. Damagu is the one saying that the problem in these parties is not near over yet. JAMB generated 22 billion naira remitted, 6 billion naira in 2024 officials. Then this one says defense headquarters confirm attack on troops in Damboa. 34 terrorists neutralized, 6 soldiers lost. May their soul rest in perfect peace. Finally, from the Guardian newspaper this morning. On the Guardian newspaper, I have this one which says anxiety as execution of federal government's free cesarean section initiative stall. EFCC detains probe 10 operatives from Lagos command for theft. Federal government criticized over jumbo perks for military, politicians and others. Students stay away in Calabar. Dispute despite school resumption. Students are stayed away. What's the problem? No plan to revive Nigeria air deal with Ethiopia Airline. Federal government clarifies. National Assembly condemns poor 2024 budget execution, demands urgent reform. And of course, our time is already up, but finally from the Leadership newspaper this morning, governors shake up cabinets to assert control. Some riders to that story. Wide the big stake after non-loyal appointees. Mohammed sacks 5 commissioners, rather redesignate portfolio in Bauchi, Katsina. Sule explained cabinet sack in Nasarawa State. This one says 43 Senate members alleged manipulation in newly Abuja VC appointments. Well, as a matter of fact, those are the headlines for today. Okay, that's a different headline altogether. All right, this is going to be the size of the headlines for today. Going on a quick break. We are going on a quick break, and when we return, remember that the first conversation will be going down as we look at the Ghana election. So many things and so many reactions are coming from there, and that's going to be our first discussion on Global Morning today. And don't forget that after that, the second discussion also will be coming, and we will have our experts join us as we do this discussion. Mahama Presidency, Ghana's historic leadership moment is the next discussion. Join us after the AM News for that discussion. Stay with us.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofrebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
The Global Morning Team.
Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to news AM News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Linkomsat. The military high command has provided an insight into what transpired between terrorists and personnel attached to the forward operating base Sabongeri area in Damboa local government area of Borno State. It confirmed that 6 soldiers lost their lives during the encounter, while 34 terrorists who had attempted to surprise the troops are retaliated, and the recent killing of their commander and combatants were eliminated. It was earlier reported that 4 days after Boko Haram terrorists overran the military base, many soldiers were still unaccounted for. A development many stakeholders within the security cycle decided and described as worrisome. The United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed is set to begin a 2-day official visit to Nigeria on Thursday. The National Information Officer, United Nations Information Center, Olasiri Soremekun, said during her stay she will hold discussions with President Bola Tinubu, senior government officials, and the leadership of the Economic Community of West African States, that is ECOWAS. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has vowed that 50 individuals detained for vandalizing manhole covers in Abuja roads would face prosecution. This comes after the Nigerian Police Command in the territory announced the detention of 50 suspected vandals who were caught with 25 manhole covers and solar street lights. Wike, while reacting to the development in a statement signed by his senior special assistant on public communication and new media, Lere Olayinka, said the detained suspects would face the full wrath of the law to serve as a deterrent to others, emphasizing that no criminal would be spared as they would be prosecuted for economic sabotage and endangering the lives of Nigerians. Chairman of the Senate on Appropriation, Senator Solomon Adiola, stated this in Abuja at a meeting with the chairman of Standing Committee in the Senate. He stated that January 31st is the date for laying off report on appropriation bill before the Senate and the House of Representatives, noting that both chambers of the National Assembly will suspend plenary. Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, that is NYC, Brigadier General YD Ahmed, says corps members will soon begin receiving a new monthly allowance of 77,000 naira. Speaking at the commissioning of a 32-seater bus in Abuja, General Ahmed highlighted that newly unveiled bus would alleviate transportation challenges faced by corps members and NYC staff within the Federal Capital Territory. He emphasized his administration is committed to prioritizing the welfare of corps members and confirmed that all arrangements for the increased allowance have been finalized. The Federal Capital Territory Police Command says it has intercepted a white Peugeot 15-seater bus transporting 59 children said to be between 4 and 12 years old, suspected to have been trafficked. A team of police led by Deputy Superintendent of Police Sarki Umar was said to have stopped the vehicle with registration number KMC 283ZJ along the Abuja-Kano route. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has commenced preparation for the 2025 Hajj with a walking visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Led by the Commission's chairman, Professor Abdullahi Usman, the delegation's visit is at the invitation of the Saudi Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. The Assistant Director of Information and Publication at the Commission, Fatima Usara, disclosed this in a statement. No fewer than 18 people were killed in coordinated attacks across several communities in the Osu local government area of Imo State. Victims were left with deep machete wounds, sparking fear and outrage among locals. 5 people have been confirmed dead while 10 others are in critical condition following 2 separate road accidents on the Benin-Asaba highway. The incident, which occurred on Tuesday night, took place between the Iselo Uku and Onitsha Ugbo axis. One of the accidents reportedly involved a Sienna minivan, which was reportedly speeding when it veered off the road and somersaulted multiple times. An Ikeja Special Offense Court has dismissed the plea application filed by the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, challenging its jurisdiction to hear the $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira fraud case brought by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Delivering the ruling, Justice Raman Oshodi held the court has jurisdiction over counts 8 to 26, citing relevant legal authorities and evidence presented in the case file. The Kaduna State government said it will plant 10 million trees in 4 years under its afforestation program. The Commissioner of Environment, Abubakar Buba, who spoke to stakeholders in Kaduna, said the plan is geared towards mitigating the effects of climate change and protecting the environment. The Director General of Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, Adewale Oyorinde, said all the 36 states of the Federation have no justification for not paying the new minimum wage. Oyorinde said state governments have received enough support from the federal government to be able to implement the 70,000 naira minimum wage signed into law in July 2024. While appearing on a TV program in January 7, 2025, Oyorinde dispelled the claim that some states may not have funds to pay 70,000 naira, stressing that the minimum wage has come to stay. You are watching the live broadcast of the AM News on Global Television, coming to you from the nation's capital, Abuja. When the AM News return, the China Development Bank grants Nigeria $255 million for Kano-Kaduna Railway project. We shall bring you those details as that of business and sports stories right after the break. Please stay with us. In business, the China Development Bank has approved $254.76 million loan to Nigeria to support the completion of the Kano-Kaduna Railway project. The development comes ahead of a scheduled visit by China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi to the West African nations this week. As part of his annual New Year tour of Africa, Yi will arrive in Nigeria today and meet with President Bola Tinubu and senior government officials on Thursday, which is today. According to the Nigerian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Naira settled lower in official market and high demand for the safe haven currency in global financial markets. CBN data shows that the naira depreciated and settled at 1,538 against the greenback in the official market, compared to 1,536 quoted on Monday at the Nigerian foreign exchange market. The Nigerian naira held steady at 1,660 to dollar on the black market. The Chinese yuan weakened to a 16-month low just ahead of the inauguration of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. The currency, also known as the renminbi, fell by 0.1% to RMB 7.34 against the dollar, making its weakest level since September 2023, as reported by the Financial Times. The decline occurred despite the People's Bank of China maintaining a steady fixing rate in anticipation of Trump's inauguration. And on the foreign scene, Poland has announced the closure of its consulate in Russia's city of St. Petersburg following Moscow's order for its shutdown in a tit-for-tat move. Russia had ordered the closure in December after Poland declared 2 months earlier that it was closing Russia's consulate in the Polish city of Poznań, accusing Moscow of attempting sabotage in the country and its allies. The body of former United States President Jimmy Carter has been transferred to the United States Capitol in a grand and solemn military ceremony, where it will be lying in state until a national funeral later this week. Carter, who passed away on December 29, 2024 at 10, served as the 39th president from 1977 to 1981. He was widely celebrated for his post-presidential humanitarian effort, which earned him the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. His body arrived at the snow-dusted capital following a ceremonial journey from his hometown of Plains, Georgia. Hundreds gathered as Carter flag-draped casket was carried atop a gun carriage during a funeral procession down Pennsylvania Avenue, retracing the opposite route he took during his 1977 inauguration parade. A Palestinian official says 3 people, including 2 children, were killed in an Israeli airstrike in the occupied West Bank. The Israeli military said the strike targeted militants. Ahmad Assad, governor of the northern West Bank city of Tuba, says the strike hit the nearby village of Tuman, killing a 23-year-old man and 2 children, aged 8 and 10, all from the same family. The Palestinian foreign minister concerned the strike, accusing Israel in a statement of harming civilians under the pretext of targeting militants. John Mahama has taken the oath of office as Ghana's new president in a ceremony attended by world leaders. Mahama was sworn in at Independence Square in Accra, the Ghanaian capital. The Chief Justice of Ghana, Gertrude Tokono, administered the oath of office at the event to the new president, who takes over from Nance Akufo-Addo, who succeeded him in 2017. Before Mahama swearing in, Nanjen Opoku Agimang was inaugurated as the country's first female vice president. The duo won the election held in December, with Mahama returning to the post he left 7 years ago with a mission to revive Ghana's ailing economy. And in sports, Nigeria Football Federation appoints Mali coach Eric Chelle as the new head coach of Nigeria's senior men's national football team, becoming the 3rd man to be in charge of the Super Eagles since the resignation of Giuseppe Siro, March 2024. The Executive Committee of the Nigerian Football Federation has endorsed the recommendation of its Technical and Development Subcommittee for the appointment of Mr. Eric Sekochile as head coach of the Nigerian Senior Men National Football Team. West Ham has sacked manager Julian Portier after 22 games in charge, with former Chelsea boss Graham Potter expected to replace him at the London Stadium. The Hammers are 14th in the Premier League table, 7 points above the relegation zone after just 6 wins in 20 league matches during the Spurs tenure. A 4-1 hammering at champions Manchester City on Saturday was the final straw for club chiefs. Chelsea are leading the chase to sign Kobe Mano in a sensational deal in the Manchester United midfielder leaves Old Trafford. Chelsea are in pole position to sign the 19-year-old if he can agree new terms at United, although there is bound to be competition from Premier League rivals and big clubs abroad. United have reached a statement in contract talks with Mano's representative alerting Europe's top clubs to the fact he could be sold this month or the end of the season. As Global TV AM news come to an end, let's take a look at some of the stories. And this is the size of the AM news this morning. I am Ramsey Enoch. Thanks for watching.